2, 1. J.R. Richards. What's going on?
Chilling, man. Glad to be here.
All right, so this is my first legitimate podcast in my office, new downtown Troy office. Sweet ass table, which made by, do you know Danny?
Nah.
Weathered Wood. He makes all this handcrafted shit. Like he's a dude.
He hooked you up with this?
Dude. Well, this is actually the temporary one. He's finishing up one that him and I designed. I shouldn't say I designed. I just said, hey, make it this big. I don't care how it looks. Make it how you want it. But he's finishing that one up, and he just gave me this as a loaner until that one was done. So I'm having a handmade table done, which is going to last forever.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic. It's so friggin' dope. Just knowing, like this. Like, how sturdy is this? This ain't going nowhere. This isn't IKEA.
Bro, that's skill, man. This dude is nice.
Yeah, he's just like 2 doors down, 3 doors down from here. And he goes around Troy and like goes to all these abandoned like houses and shit, you know, and old factories, and just gets all this wood for free that was just gonna rot and die, and turns them into tables and coat racks, and we have a few things from him. So this is probably my favorite thing.
Yeah, this is
about like the other one I have is even slightly prettier. So this is like, I had to have a sweet ass table to be able to podcast. That's it. I'm like,
have that, man.
Like that was my like. I don't even know what else I need. I don't even know what I need on the walls to make me feel good about this. But I'm just like, as long as I got a sweet ass table, I'm stoked, because this is a man's table. So J.R. Richards, you interested me. Met you like a year and a half ago. And I was like, oh, okay, you were going to be a physical therapist, right?
Yeah, that was the plan at the time.
And then you just said...
Kind of threw that out the window, man. You know, I'm like... Felt like I was wasting my time with a direction I didn't even want to really go, you know? At first, it was like, before I got into acting, I was like, you know, this might be a decent career. But once I started acting, I caught the bug. You know, I had to chase the dream. Did
it make you realize how much you like talking and being in front of people? Like, it gives you energy. Does it like...
Yeah, it does, man. First time being up there in class, you know, at first I was like, oh, you know, it was like a new feeling. But after a couple weeks, I was like, I like this, you know? And it's like, once I started learning the craft, I was all in.
No looking back.
No looking back.
No more physical therapy.
None of that, man. It was a tough choice, though, you know? Because it's like, I was kind of balancing, like, what should I do? I tried to go part-time. Taking like 2 classes, but even then I was getting loads of homework, and it's like I had to make the choice. Okay, am I gonna do all this homework, or am I gonna study my lines for this show I got coming up? I'm like, I put the lines first, then I started falling behind a little bit. I'm like, you know what, it's really not for me, you know. Let me just...
Your heart wasn't in it anymore.
It wasn't in it. Like, you know, some people say, you know, if you want it bad enough, yeah, I probably could have got it done, but I'm like, I don't really want this. You can't make me want something I don't want. Just to, you know.
And at the end of the day, it was just going to be like a career and money thing, right?
Yeah.
But no real like love. Like when you started talking about acting out of nowhere, I was like, wait, what? What do we do? Like, because I didn't see you for months on end. You're like, oh yeah, I'm not doing, not going to be a physical therapist anymore. I was like, all right, what you doing? I'm going to act. Act, model, any of that, right? Like, yeah. Well, for anybody who is watching this in Troy, you will see JR's face on these posters. What was the name of that thing? I've seen you on posters. I told you about this the other day. You're still up there.
Right, you saw me downtown.
I didn't even know picture you on downtown.
Yeah. Yeah, that was for Samaritan Hospital, or no, it was for St. Peter's Health Partners, and it was for something called Take a Stand. It was like against sexual assault, so they asked me to be in the shoot. I was like, sure, why not? You know,
because it's work, right?
Well, I didn't get paid for that gig, but it was like promotion in a way. You know, it's like
it's work, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You got paid. I mean, that we're able to talk about it now. That's the payment you got.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's like your face. We could walk there, right? Maybe I'll actually add that to this video later, like the picture, your picture on it, because it's a fantastic picture. Because from what I know of you and your dad, who's awesome, both of y'all are always smiling, happy and shit. And this is my biggest comment about those pictures is both of you guys trying to look like you're mad, like you're tough. I'm like, I'm sure it's easy to look mad, but I'm not used to that because you're so friendly and outgoing. Especially when I see you at the gym, it's like you're full of energy, happy, and just always chops always going. So when I see you at that poster, I'm like, definitely intimidating to some people, but having just known you on the level I know you, I'm like, way too friendly. Yeah. Which makes me think a lot about acting. I'm like, God damn, do you ever really know an actor? Like they're always like, who's the real person? Like a Tom Cruise. Like, who is the real Tom Cruise?
Right.
Like, is he that dude in Mission Impossible, or is he like a hippie that sits at home and grows flowers and eats?
Yeah, you never really know, right? Because
Yeah.
they do so many different characters. That's the thing about the craft. Like, you really like transform into somebody else for that role. And yeah, unless you really know the actor personally, you'll never really know what he's like.
Yeah, I think that's the weird thing about acting is that sometimes these people that have been lifelong actors, like you're what, like 23, 24?
I'm 23. Yeah.
All right, so
I've been acting since like July.
and that's so you've already like grown. You're a man now. But like when the child actors, like kids that start when they're like 6, 7, 8 years old, how the hell do they ever figure out who they really are if they're always like being a character? That's the way I look at it. I'm like, God damn, because we always hear about child actors like going off the deep end when they hit their 20s and 30s, right?
Right.
Like they're getting a little bit crazy. So I feel like it seems like when you start acting at such a young age, you get your concept of reality is so warped because it's like now, like say like those Harry Potter kids, which I think they all turned out fine. I don't think any are crackheads right now.
Yeah,
right?
I never heard.
But yeah, no, if they are crackheads, they're kind of like keeping it on the DL. But so many child actors, it's like one day you're a wizard. Okay, then you do that for like 5-6 months, however long it is to film a Harry Potter movie. And then maybe you get another acting job, and then now you're the son of Ed O'Neill on Modern Family or something. It's like, okay, now I'm this role. But like, when do you get to be that person? But I think somebody like you who comes in at 23, you're a man. You know who you are. You like, okay, this is JR. And this is acting JR. They're two different worlds.
Exactly.
I'm probably going a little crazy right there just thinking about it. But that's the way I was looking at it. If I ever had a kid that was like wanted to be an actor or just like had that look and somebody's like, hey man, you got to get your son into acting. I'd be like, I don't think so.
Especially when you throw the money into it and the fame, it's like, depending on, what their family's like, you got to be real grounded I'm sure you got to be real grounded to, to be able to handle all that. Some people, it's like, man, never had money before.
They're offering me how much? What? They're offering my kid how much? I actually had this thought a year ago. A friend of ours, she had a baby, and this baby girl, and it was probably after it was like the kid was like 4 or 5 months old. I was like, holy crap, that's probably the prettiest baby I've ever seen. Like a good looking baby. Like I said, that's one that you see on TV. Like that's a beautiful looking baby. I'm like, would she be willing to let that kid act? Like for. I think where it starts for a lot of them is like, say like if Gerber came to them and was like, hey, we want to put your baby in a baby food commercial. Well, do you say yeah? They're gonna offer you $30,000 for your cute little baby to be. I think you say yeah.
Hell yeah.
But at that point when it's a baby, who cares, right? Like the baby's not gonna know. It's just lay there and be a baby. You don't have to do anything. That's acting, right?
Easy money.
Yeah, easy money. But you hear so many. What was it like? Remember the first one in my generation was Macaulay Culkin, the Home Alone kid. Mm-hmm. Like, I think his parents just took all of his shit. Like, he was 10, 11, 12 years old when he was doing those movies and just raking it in. And I feel like it was his dad who just pissed away his money. Like, I was lying to him the whole time. Like, Macaulay, this money, it's going to be there for you. And I think his dad just went nuts.
Oh, shit.
So acting is a whole weird world when you're a kid, I think. But when you're coming into it from a dude who's like, I'm gonna be a physical therapist. Nah, F that. I'm gonna go act.
Yeah, man, I feel like it's perfect timing, because I'm that right age, I still got plenty of time, to build up my body of work.
A little closer.
Still got plenty of time to build up my body of work, it's like,
dude, and you got time to make decisions and mistakes, right? Like, you probably sat down. I don't know if you're a list writer, like a goal list writer.
Yeah, I am.
Did you sit down and go, all right, 23, if I'm going to go for it and give it a shot, what better time are you going to have than 23, right? Because, dude, you get to be like, I'm not 40 yet, but it's around the corner, and that shit gets there so quick. I'm still 23 up here. Like, I'm like, I know 23. Like, you think it takes a long time? No, it starts getting really fast, really quick. So, not that I have any regrets or anything, but if I was a 23-year-old Doug again, I'd be like, all right, is this the time to start going crazy and forget, like maybe I shouldn't even gone to college. I'm like, all right, screw this accounting shit, screw this other stuff, screw college. let's go try to do something silly, which is essentially what I'm doing right now with the damn podcast, which the internet has given us. Like, this wasn't an option when I was 20, even when I was your age, 23. But now I'm just like, oh shit, I really like talking to people. I don't know if I'm good at it. I don't know if it's money, but I like it. I love hearing people's stories is what I'm at. So you, I met you in the gym, and you put up some big goddamn monster numbers in the gym. When did this pick up? You talked something about boxing too. You mentioned something about boxing the other day. You were trying to be a boxer?
Well, yeah, I was boxing in Albany on Quail Street for about a year, a little bit on and off. Like, I would just go whenever I wasn't working, go train, spar. So yeah, it was fun, man. Then I started working. You know, I had less time for it. They wanted me there every day, and like the hours. You know, it was like boxing from 6 to 8. And when I didn't have anything going on, I was good, but you know, when I was working, I had to get that money, and but yeah.
Did you have any fights?
We were just sparring. I didn't have any like official matches. They were gonna get me in the books, but that's when I had got a new job. Got tied up with that. I'm like, damn, I gotta get this money, so I'll get back to this, you know, when I have the free time again.
Do you still train like a boxer at all?
I still run every morning. Still just stay in shape, really. But yeah, I'd like to get back into it when I get the time.
Now, is that one of your things? You send out like modeling things? Like, I don't even know, dude. Underwear model? I don't even know. But you are. Here's something I heard one of the women at where you used to work say. She's like, I've ever heard her say it under her breath. She's like, because two campuses, say Albany and Troy. She's like, damn, we don't have those kinds of muscles out in Albany. like she was a chick that worked in Albany, came to Troy, saw you moving stuff around or something. This is something my girlfriend told me. That shit. She overheard another chick saying, damn, we don't have them kind of muscles in Albany. Wow. So I was like, yeah, he's a big kid. Like,
good to know they take notice.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing, right? Like, you're putting yourself out there. Like, like, you're a big dude. That's like what I saw you bench 320, 315.
Well, my max on there for like max bench press for like 2 reps on 390. But yeah, I just go in there, I throw it up, man.
God damn, that's a big number. That's really big. So right now, what are you trying to balance? You got the show coming up in Schenectady, you said, right?
Yeah, Schenectady Civic Players. We got a show coming up called Inspector Calls. January 27th through February 4th, and it's gonna be on Fridays and Saturdays, so I'm looking forward to that. I've been rehearsing like 3-4 times a week, so.
And this is your first like JR as an actor job?
I did one show before, so this is show number 2, but this is like a bigger platform than the last theater I was at. So.
Was that the one in New York City?
Nah, that was actually a showcase because I'm in an acting, like, it's called Blue Horse Repertory Acting Company, and we do showcases. You know, we link up with other acting schools and stuff like that. So that was just a showcase I had done, Shakespeare. So
was that your first like, all right, like really get the momentum going, and then did that lead to this one?
Well. Yeah, well, okay, I had done one show before, one play, and that was at Classic Theater Guild, and that was in Schenectady. So that was my first play. But in class, we do a lot of scene work. We go out, like, we'll do showcases at different, establishments and stuff like that on the side. So this is my second actual show, my actual play I'm in. So yeah, I'm stoked for it.
I'm in. I'm so excited.
You gotta come check it out.
I'm so excited.
Good.
Is it a leading role? You killed it the other day,
bro. Everybody, I got a round of applause just mid rehearsal because, like, bro, the director was like, man, I meant to stop like 3 pages ago, but man, I was just so caught up in your performance,
dude.
Everybody started clapping. It felt good, man. You know what I mean? They noticed the
talent. How did you describe it? That bug gets you. You're like, oh shit. And it's got to be that feedback, right? The clapping and somebody saying you're doing awesome. It's like, oh shit. Like, most people don't get to hear that ever, right? Like, if you're a physical therapist, you're never getting a round of applause.
Nah.
No, you're probably not.
You might get a thank you. Thanks for helping me out with my aches and pains.
Yeah, But people that want to be entertained, like people that show up, like we're gonna come see you guys in the show. Like, we're there, like, all right, entertain us. And when you do that,
bro, the first show I did, it was called Witness for the Prosecution. I was playing like an inspector. So I had to come in, arrest this dude, like, and it was a small role because I was kind of like, should I even bother with this? But I said, you know what? Let me own this role. And then afterwards, bro, everybody was coming up to me like, wow, that was incredible. You know, I'm signing autographs. I'm like,
wait, you've already signed autographs?
Yes, bro. Like, there was a couple ladies, they just came up and they were like, wow, I know you're gonna be famous someday. I need that autograph now. I kind of like laughed. I'm like, they were like, no, we're serious. They pulled out the notepad. I'm like, okay.
Dude, what does that do to your head, though? Are you like, okay, I got to keep this in check? Because you start hearing, that's what I think it gets dangerous, right? People start, you're so great. You're so good at this. Like, you hear that from Hollywood people all the time. Oh, they're so great. Oh, that person's so great. Oh, he's so good at this.
Yeah.
It gets to, like, where do you get criticism? Like, who are you your best critic? Are you like, oh, I nailed that? Or, oh, God damn it, that was kind of shitty. That wasn't my best.
I mean, I'm pretty confident about it because it's just like I kind of just got that natural knack for it, you know. So it's like I just go up there naturally, do my thing, and plus working on it in class for so long, I've developed so much. Like when I first started, I didn't really know about the craft, so I'm like, oh, let me learn about this, and then I learned the difference between just like you're not just getting up there reading lines, you got to say it a certain way, and how much a different that that makes such a difference when you say something a certain way. And once I learned the key to it is like delivery and really doing your homework on the character, it's been taking off since then.
Do you find, is that how you get in? How do you get into a character?
Man, it's there's different ways to it. Like the class I'm in, it's method based. So my teacher will have us do a lot of different things, such as bring in an object. So be like, bring in an object for this character. You bring in a watch. You're like, okay. And then, like, the classmates will ask you questions. Oh, well, where'd you get that watch? And you basically make it up on the fly. Oh, my dad gave it to me. He was a teacher. And then you kind of put together, like, a background story that's not in the script. So that you're kind of, like, subconsciously becoming that character. And you kind of add stuff to the story that's not in there.
All right, so is it like what would this character say? Is that what goes through your head? Like they ask you about the watch, be like, all right, what would this character say? Because you're not going off a script, right? So you're just coming up in your head. Are you thinking, all right, I know this about this guy based on the script and what the director and writer told you, right? Like this is what this person is, and then you just gotta be like, what was that kind of person say about this watch? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Okay, so you know what kind of character he is, by what it says in the script. You know, like kind of what his traits are. So then it's kind of like, but you're not really you don't ever overthink it. You just kind of just come up with stuff. You're like, okay, yeah, my dad was a teacher. So yeah, I wanted to be a teacher too. If your character is a teacher or something. Okay. So you kind of just put things together like puzzle pieces, and
you're creating a world.
Yeah, exactly.
You're creating this character's life.
Exactly. And then at the end of all that, then my teacher will be like, oh, so what'd you learn about him? And then you'll learn something that you didn't know. You'd be like, oh yeah, this guy he has these kind of traits that I didn't even know about through the script. And then it just brings your performance alive in a way,
Do they ever take any of the ad libs in the ones that you've done so far? Like if you come up with, say, the watch or the teacher or whatever it is, do they ever include that into the play, or they're like, nope, this is the script, we're sticking to the script? So is that just like I'm guessing, is that just an exercise?
Yeah, that's just like part of the preparation, because you always want to come in prepared. There's different things that you do, that you don't just get the script and then, let me come in, memorize these lines, and that's it. When you do that preparation, when you come in, it's like, it's all natural, so that you could really bring that realism in the performance, you know what I mean?
See, I wish
bro, for example, this last, that's probably why I got that round of applause, because I came in, right? My character in this show I'm doing, Inspector Calls, he basically, long story short, he was dating this one girl, and this is like the main girl in the story. She died, she committed suicide, and then come to find out everybody in the family had a role in it in some way, and he's basically getting interrogated, and he realizes like, oh, this is the same girl I dated, and I kind of used her and broke up with her. So I had to deliver that emotion like, shit, I'm stressed. I just realized like she might have killed herself because of me. So, I really had to create a little backstory like, oh yeah, like Bro, it's a long process, man, but it's like I had to create a little story like, oh yeah, I took her here, we went out for a walk so that I could somewhat feel guilty so that when I'm saying these lines, like, oh my God, like I'm really, you know.
gotta go deep. You
Yeah,
gotta really
exactly.
like tap into that emotion that you have.
Exactly.
And make it come out.
Yeah.
See, I was in one play my whole life in high school, Little Women, and it was just about only reason I joined was because I had one friend. He's like, dude, these couple hot chicks want us to get in this play. Want to do it? I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do it. That was basically that's still kind of my attitude now. If you sell something to me, like, same reason I played soccer in high school. We were the worst team in the state, but I joined soccer because we had new uniforms. My friends were like, hey, dude, they got these sweet ass new Nike uniforms. You want to play soccer? I'm like, okay, I'm terrible at soccer. We're the worst team in the state. I think we scored 2 goals the whole season, but we look good. I love those uniforms. So the reason I joined the play was because there was a couple chicks in it. He's like, hey, these chicks are hot and they love play dudes. Want to do it? I'm like, okay. So I joined up. I somehow got the kissing scene in it, which was fantastic. And it was also, but I didn't think about any of this shit that you're saying. I was just like, okay, what are my lines?
Right.
Like, I don't remember how many lines. There wasn't a lot, but I remember, like, God damn, man, like, you got to memorize this stuff? Like, memorize. How good are you at memorizing? Is that being an issue? Because I remember just in high school, I had maybe 9 lines. Like, not a lot, but I was like,
So that wasn't bad. Yeah.
no, it was a cheesy little high school play, so it wasn't a lot.
Right,
but
right.
I just remember when I got to kiss her, I was like, oh shit.
That's what you Shit, but yeah, bro, I'm pretty good with the lines. That's another natural gift I have. You know, it's memorizing stuff. When I see it, it kind of just sinks in. People will be like, "Oh, you got a photographic memory?" I guess so. I could look at something like maybe once or twice, and it kind of sinks right in. So
That's got to be a big part. So it's not stressful for you to learn lines.
no, not at all.
All right. Also, my favorite memory I shouldn't say favorite memory, but it was a remarkable memory. When I joined that play, one time before rehearsal, it was the first time I ever smoked weed. These couple, like, the drama type high school. I'm sure they grow up and they're still smoking weed, doing plays and shit. But in high school, that's definitely that crowd. Mm-hmm. And she's like, hey, Doug, want to come get high with us? I'm like, all right, let's see what this is about. I was a junior in high school. I was like, all right, let's see what this is about, because I know when I go to college or whatever, it's gonna come up. I don't want that to be my first time. I was like, okay, good, let's go do it. So we went to the back of this field, like down near this little stream that was running behind the high school, and we smoked up there. And all I did was take one little hit, and I remember her saying it was Canadian dank. Like, I felt like I asked her, what kind of weed is it? Like, I didn't know shit. What kind of marijuana is this, might I ask? And she's like, I remember her saying Canadian dank. And I'm like, okay, well, sure, that sounds delicious. So I took one hit, and then we walked 5 minutes later to get into play rehearsal. Mm-hmm. Now, I was thinking, I was like, I'm totally cool. Like, the rehearsal teacher, nobody's noticing shit. I'm not high at all. I'm totally pulling this off, like reading my lines and everything. And then the rehearsal teacher definitely caught something on me. She's like, she could tell I was definitely gone somewhere else because I was messing up my lines or something, or just not standing the right way. And she came from behind me, grabbed me by my shoulder. She's like, you can't be looking here. You gotta be looking here. Like she was messing with me, like freaking my mind out because I was super high. And I was like, dude. Like, I was like, whoa, she just spun me around, made me super dizzy. So, but I figured I was like, am I gonna get in trouble? Like, she definitely knows. Like, I was super paranoid. So I thought the whole play rehearsal I was going to get in trouble. But then I thought, no, she deals with this shit all the time. Like, she's a drama teacher. She probably deals with nothing but stoners.
Yeah, you hadn't seen before.
So, but the follow-up to that is, after play rehearsal, my friends and I, a different group of friends and I, we went and played basketball. I played basketball every day after school. We went and played basketball after play rehearsal. And I just had one of those zone days. Like, it was just shot after shot after shot after shot. They were just going in. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, kapow, kapow.
Oh, you were getting your Larry Bird on.
Dude! Exactly. Well, at that time, I was like, Mark Price. Mark Price, if you remember Mark Price, number 25, Cleveland Cavaliers, played with Brad Daugherty during that. You don't remember. The NBA Jam, if you play NBA Jam, like,
I played that
94 on the Sega.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm pretty sure 94, 95 was Mark Price and Brad Daugherty were the team on NBA Jam. So anyways, that's who I was channeling, my inner Mark Price, left-handed Mark Price. But anyways, I remember my buddies all out there like, God damn it, like half of them didn't even know I had smoked, but I felt so in the zone, and a couple of them like, dude, this is the best you've ever shot. What? Why are you so hot today? I was like, dude, I smoked for the first time. I'm a little bit high right now, and my coordination was incredible, and that always stuck with me, and I really enjoyed the whole high experience. I enjoyed it, and I slept like a baby, but I enjoyed it so much, I didn't smoke again for 3 years because I got afraid. I was like, oh shit, I don't want this to become like a daily thing or a weekly thing. Like, I don't want to become a better basketball player because of weed.
You could be in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I could have if I just stayed high. But then I also, in high school, I remember the silliness of it. So many dudes on the basketball team would smoke, and same way with the NBA now, right? Like, actually in their new, like, the players union, I don't know how new it is. It's at least, I think, a year or two old is when I heard of it. With, like, the players union, when they were making a deal with the owners and everything, in their contract, it said that there would be no more marijuana testing, no more weed testing, because everyone in the NBA gets high. Because there's something good about being in that weed state, the high state, right, that just people get fluid. It really translates well to basketball. Now, something like football, I don't think you could play when you're high. Something like powerlifting, like, I don't think you're putting up 390 bench press when you're high. But there's something about basketball that and I felt it. That was always my memory. I'm like, okay, good, because that wasn't just me. That was like NBA players that are like, no, this makes us a better player. Like, you get more creative. I think that's the theory I've heard behind it too. I'm like, okay, like, you just see things differently. The same thing with some martial artists. You know, jiu-jitsu? Like, or at least heard of it.
Yeah,
a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, and it's like when they're rolling around on the ground, wrestling, trying to choke each other and break their arms and break their legs and shit. Those dudes, all of them get high too, because it's like you just get creative, I guess, and there's something flowing about it. So there's certain sports that it works, but yeah, that was I get to credit. I'm trying to remember this damn girl's name who gave me that weed for the first time, but that was one of the most memorable high school experiences, because the whole day, I thought I nailed the rehearsal, or maybe might have been too high, and that's why the teacher messed with me. But I remember playing basketball for a couple hours after that, and I was like, God damn, this is the best I've ever played. I better never smoke weed again.
Damn. It was too much power to handle, man.
It was. And I remember them asking me a few more times, hey, Doug, want to get high before rehearsal again? I'm like, no, I don't. So yeah, it was 3 years ago. 3 years after that is when I smoked again, and I made the mistake of doing it while I was drunk, and I remember throwing up all over my dorm room.
Oh, wow.
Like, I think I had eaten half a pizza, probably had 8 or 9 beers, and then a hit from a bong, my very first hit from a bong, and I threw up.
Damn. Yeah, I never smoked before, man. I can't relate.
You haven't gotten offered it in the drama club yet?
Nah, right. Nobody in there. Just all through high school. Oh, yo, man, come on, so let's light up. Nah, I'm good.
No, see, that's the thing where, like, I'm very pro do whatever you want as long as it's not hurting anyone else as a number one thing,
right,
and not hurting yourself. Like, I don't like to see people hurt themselves.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like against soda and these all McDonald's and cheese. I mean, you probably feel the same way too, being such a fit guy who cares about his health.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, all right, please don't hurt yourself because you're hurting all of us. So it does. I don't want to say people it should be it should definitely be legal, because I'm like, go do it. But I think when you get too young, that's what I realized when I was in high school too. I was like, if this shit gets to you too young, you just kind of see it as like a party thing.
Right.
Now at this age now, I'm just like, it's a medicine. Like, I haven't taken ibuprofen or Tylenol or anything in years, and if I have an ache or a pain, I'm like, all right, let me just get a little hit, and I feel good, and then I can sit down and actually like have good thoughts. I read and I write and I come up with ideas. I'm like, that's how it should be used. But I think when you start too young, like, yo man, get a hit, let's go to class high. Like, that was never me, because I'm like, this could be bad. This could be bad. And that's what I tell my nieces and my nephews. I'm like, don't, like, wait till you're like 25. I was like, because that's when your brain is like fully developed. You're like, your brain's not even done growing yet, right?
Right.
Like, but biologically, you're not done until you're 25. So I tell all my nieces and nephews or friends or anyone young, I'm like, don't do anything until you're 25, because you might start messing with yourself. There's my soapbox. This started with my acting class. I do miss the girl that I kissed. She was when I fell in love with Italian girls with big butts.
Oh,
That was it. She was my first.
one of those?
She was my first Italian girl with a big butt, and I was like, I think I found my type. do you know your type? Because she was the one that I'm like, and I would love to say her name because it's a beautiful name, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, nah.
In case who knows where this is gonna go someday, but yeah, she was the girl. I was like, I have a type, and then that's how I ended up with my girlfriend that I've been with for like almost 20 years now. Because I'm like, okay, she's my type.
Nice. Yeah, man. I don't really have a type. I like beautiful women, man. They gotta have a nice figure, slim, thick, pretty face. I'm good to go.
You into white chicks, black chicks, Asians, or just beautiful girls?
Just beautiful women, man. White chicks, light-skinned women, Spanish women.
I think you're in the right place though. Up here, this New York area, it's such a blend. It's such a blend of like cultures. Like we produce a lot of beautiful people in cities. Like we lived out in the country for a little while. I'm like, God damn, all these. Even when we go visit places, like say we visit middle of nowhere West Virginia or middle of nowhere Pennsylvania. I'm like, God damn, all you people look the same. Like you need some diversity in here. All of them are ugly. They all look like their family. But then we come to the city, it's like, oh my God, there's some beautiful people here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd like to go out, see how some other states are looking like. I've heard good things about down south, so I'd like to take a trip down there.
Where we talk Atlanta?
Yeah,
that's like the strip club capital of the country, isn't it? Like I've been to, was I at a strip club in Atlanta? I hate strip clubs, but I have one friend who anytime we hang out, and thank God I don't see him too often, but anytime we hang out, he's like, when we going to strip club? He's that guy. When we going to strip club? When we going to strip club? I've probably been 5 strip clubs in my life. I think one of them was Atlanta, and there were some beautiful black girls. Like, that was the first time I was like, oh my God, I might be into black chicks. Oh, like it hadn't come across my radar from the places I lived. I was like, there was this, actually I shouldn't say that. In high school there was this chick, Deandra Carr. She was big and she definitely had a crush on me. But I was like, I don't think no matter what the color is, I'm not into big chicks.
Nah, me neither.
So I think that's what I started to figure out my line. I'm like, okay, I'm into whatever, I think, but they just can't be big. Is that bad? Like I felt forever, I felt guilty about that. I'm like, man, why am I so judgmental? But then recently, in the past several years, I'm like, no, I know what I like, I know what I don't like.
Hey man, everybody has their types, man. I'm not into big girls either, so don't feel bad. Don't feel bad, brother. It's not shallow. It's just you're attracted to what you're attracted to.
I know. And I felt like I couldn't handle a big girl. I'm like, I just
mess around and get squashed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, wait, how would this work? Like, I don't think this works in my favor. All right, so boxing was just going to be a fun thing to work out. And then
it was a nice outlet, pissed off, going to the gym, beat people up.
So this is in Albany?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking to join a boxing gym because I feel like, I don't know if I need an outlet, but I do miss like hanging out with dudes. Like when I used to go to the gym, I had my lifting partner and we see always the same dudes in the gym and it'd be like dudes hanging out. I feel like having moved around as much as I did, like living 10 years in Florida and then just moving up here where I don't really know anyone, I'm like, God damn, man, I need a dude tribe again. That's what I felt like the gym was, like dudes in a tribe. So I'm like, do I take a boxing?
Yeah, bro, and it's free.
Where's this?
Quail Street.
Okay.
Quail Street Boxing Gym.
Is this for youth or just for anyone who wants? You just go in there with gloves and start punching shit?
Bro, they get you started with the basics, like they work you in. Like if you go tell them, hey, I'm trying to get, do some boxing training, they'll say, okay, have you shadow box, show you the jab, proper form, and then after a few weeks of that, they get you sparring and stuff like that. So,
did you grow up a boxing fan, or you just saw it as a good workout?
Not like a hardcore boxing fan, and I always followed UFC, like MMA and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to try it out. It's a good workout, that's for sure.
Hell yeah, I feel bad for people who didn't experience the Mike Tyson era when he just owned the world. There were like at that point, it felt like now everybody's famous, right? Like, how many different famous people have you never heard of? Like, people are like, oh, this person has 7 million Twitter followers. What? Who's that person? And all these, like, people I've never heard of. But at that time, like, late 80s, early 90s, even mid-90s, there were, like, 3 famous people in the world. Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, and Michael Jackson. They were all Michaels. Right. Like, that's really it. And, wait, isn't that, like, a Jay-Z song? I'd like to go, take your pick. Tyson, Jordan, Jackson. Oh, wait, no.
You know, I heard that.
What song is that? Is that Girls, Girls, Girls?
It sounds like that one. Ball So Hard. Is that the one?
I'm Lyco to go psycho, like Michael.
That's
take your pick.
Niggas in Paris.
Yeah. Jordan. No.
Take your
Tyson,
pick.
Jackson, Jordan, Game 6. Yeah. So there were 3 famous people in the world at the time, and Mike Tyson was like just on a different level. Like I'm in love with just 2 years ago, my friend and I went to actually 2 of my favorite boxers. It was Mike Tyson and Riddick Bowe. You remember Riddick Bowe? Mm-hmm. Turns out they're like amongst best friends. They're like really good buddies, and they never fought each other because they were friends. Like Riddick Bowe did not want to fight Tyson. I think vice versa. They're just like, God, we're buddies. I think they're both from Brooklyn. I think Bowe's from Brooklyn too. So anyways, my friend and I 2 years ago, we went to this like dinner and meet and greet with Bowe and Tyson and someone else. I have a picture back at my house of me standing there with Tyson, cheesing, big ass smile. And I remember shaking his hand, man.
Yeah, the vice grip.
Dude. Well, the first thing I recognized is how soft his hand was. I was like, God damn, my man like puts moisturizer. He's got some lotiony hands. Like you would think like tough man. But one, it just wrapped, his hand just could wrap around mine. And he was gentle with it, but I was like, oh shit, this is a different kind of human. He could crush me right now if he wanted. His hands were massive. His shoes, my friend and I were sitting like right here, and he was basically like right like 5-10 feet away. It was just like a Q&A kind of thing, like an interview. They were doing all these questions for him. And his feet were monstrous. They were absolutely monstrous. I'm like, he's just a different type of person. But I had these gloves hanging in my closet too that he autographed. So I was wondering if I could take them to the gym and box with my Tyson gloves. If that'd be a good idea.
You want to put those on, bro?
I don't know. It's better than buying a new set of gloves, maybe.
Well, they have gloves there.
Okay.
If you want to use other people's gloves. I was for a while until I got my own. They got like a whole, like, they got a bunch of gloves on the shelf, headgear, stuff like that.
All right, I'm going to look into this. Do you know my favorite moment from meeting Tyson and Bowe, though, was afterwards? Like, Tyson kind of had to get out of there because he's, you know, like, he'd get swamped. But Bowe kind of hung out and just, like was just hanging out with everybody that was there. And I asked him to take a picture with me, and my buddy was taking a picture, and I was like, wait, hold on, Riddick. I think I just called him Champ because I think that's what you call boxers, right? Like, what's up, Champ? Like, when I met Tyson, took the picture, I was like, great to meet you, Champ. And same thing with Bowe. I was like, hey, Champ, can I take a picture with you?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, could you do this? I was like, can you pretend to punch me while we're taking the picture? He's like, all right. So he put his fist on my jaw. And by the way, his fist, like, covered half of my face. And he put his fist on my jaw and it went like this. So I have a nice picture of me getting punched by Riddick Bowe, who actually, at the time, I liked more than Tyson. Like Tyson, like everybody loved Tyson, was obsessed with him. But I felt like Riddick Bowe was like just that workhorse, like blue collar guy that not everybody knew. He wasn't as famous, but
still did his thing. Gotta respect that.
Yeah, and he's another monster. Like he was like Tyson, basically Meyer your height, but Riddick Bowe was like holy shit. And there's been several times in my life I'm like, oh, there's just different types of humans. Like, I used to think I was big, strong, and could handle myself. I was like, I could figure a way to beat up that guy. I could figure a way to handle myself. But over the years, I'm like, no, there's just different types of people.
Genetic freaks.
Yeah, genetic freaks that I'm just not going to be able to do anything about. I have to be like, please don't hurt me. Please don't rape me. Please don't do anything. Please don't beat me up. Like, and that's the truth, right? Like, there's just some dudes like The Rock. Or, like, he's like 50-something now, I think, right? And he's just a massive Samoan monster.
Bro, he's in the gym all the time from what an article I read. He just crazy diet. So
do you ever see his Instagram?
Nah.
He's insane. He's completely insane. I don't know if he misses a day at the
I've seen
gym.
like little videos pop up on Facebook. Like he'll be in the gym like, focus. Like, gotta respect the dedication. That dude wasn't even that jacked back when he was in his like 20s.
No. And I wonder what that is, right? Like he's definitely taking something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you have to. he has access to whatever is the good shit out there, right?
Yeah,
no matter whatever the price is, whatever he's getting, like
he's got the money for it. A-list actor.
Yeah, like he's getting access to drugs that you and I are like, what? Like, so he's, who knows what kind of delicious HGH or steroid, whatever he's on, is working awesome. And I feel like that's the kind of thing we should share. Be like, hey man, this is, you want to look like this when you're 50? Here, do what The Rock is doing. Because he's not just eating vegetables and red meat.
No, he's not just eating his Wheaties. I don't think so.
No, he's not acting like, hey, you got to go to the gym every day to do this. No, you need to go to the gym every day and take a little something, which we used to look at like really shittily. Like we used to look down on that. You probably missed the whole baseball thing too. Kind of, you were younger.
Barry Bonds.
Yeah, the Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, like. And then somehow I remember that got into, the U.S. government got involved. Like they had to go like have a hearing in front of the government saying you were on steroids and like acting like baseball was too sacred of a thing to take steroids for, HGH. I'm like, no, Barry Bonds was incredible. That's what I want to see. I want to see that crazy dude, like pitchers fearing him. Like they would just not pitch to him. The craziest thing I ever saw. You follow baseball at all? I'm kind of done with baseball, by the way, but this is one of the memories of how great Barry Bonds was, because he's the greatest player I've ever seen is Barry Bonds on steroids. Like, he was far and away incredible. And I remember bases loaded, and they walked him, and they brought in a run because they'd rather not pitch to him because he might hit a grand slam. They walked him and just let them get one run instead of four. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, this isn't the baseball I'm used to. And then all the steroid shit started coming out, and then they got to sit in front of Congress and plead. I'm like, what the hell kind of silly government do we have that cares about baseball and steroids? I say, let everyone have it. Look at The Rock.
All right. It should at least be an even playing field, though, you know, because I feel like especially with the sports, it depends. Like, I don't know if you follow UFC, like John Jones, how he came back. Got his belt back, but then come to find out, he took something called like Turinabol or something like that. It's like, come on.
Is that the thing that's you're supposed to take after you've done like a steroid cycle? Is that what it was? Like they didn't actually find steroids in him, but they found
like something. Yeah,
they found something that you're supposed to take after you're on a steroid cycle.
Yeah, I think
so it puts your body back in its normal steroid producing, hormone producing cycle. So I think that's what they found.
Yeah, I think that. Was that what that was? Because I know the first time that's what it was. It was like an estrogen blocker.
Yeah, estrogen
But this
blocker.
time it was called Turinabol. I guess it's like something you ingest. And it's like a steroid it's not like a real popular steroid, but I guess it's just something you ingest. And they were like, why would he take it the day of the fight? Because that's when it was in his system. But, hey, man, it was in there. So it's like,
dude, I'll talk MMA for sure. Because John Jones was the first dude to break my heart. Because I started getting into MMA about 2 years ago. And I'm like, God damn. John Jones is on a different planet. Like I started watching a bunch of his YouTube videos on his previous fights, and it was a lead up for the first time he got suspended. It was was that Cormier the first one, or was it who's supposed to be someone big the first fight that I was gonna watch? Like I'm getting this pay per view, I want to watch John Jones.
Yeah, but then he got suspended, right?
Yeah, it was post fight, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Dude's been suspended too many times. We're confusing.
Yeah, I think the first time he was supposed to fight Anthony Rumble Johnson. And then he got suspended, so Cormier ended up fighting him. Yeah, and then he came back, I think.
And he was supposed to fight DC. He was supposed to fight Daniel Cormier 8 months ago.
Right.
And then he got suspended again when they found that. And then that's when Anderson Silva stepped in and fought Daniel Cormier, which was embarrassing.
Got manhandled.
Dude, he just got squished. Because he's like 40-something. Anderson Silva. Daniel Cormier is a monster.
Hell yeah.
He's just
he's almost 42, but that wrestling base.
His cardio for days.
Yeah.
He just squished him.
I feel like that was an easy fight in a way for him, too. He's like, let me just throw this guy on his back, slam him around.
Yeah, because I bet you he still probably got his guaranteed money, whatever it was for the John Jones fight.
Yeah.
I'm sure he still got paid. And Anderson Silva is just like, okay, just don't knock me out. Don't give me a concussion. I'll let you put me to sleep. So John Jones breaking my heart is like, that's when I really start to get into it. I'm like, I can't wait to see John Jones. I can't wait to. So the first suspension kind of bummed me out. But then that's when Conor McGregor stepped up. And I'm like, oh, this guy's crazy too. And he's on a different planet as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so I rode the Conor wave for a while. And then John Jones with his second fight, which was supposed to be with DC. Then I was like, okay, this is it. Getting this pay-per-view, this is going to be awesome. And then he gets suspended again.
Man, that makes you, that could be, him going downhill. You got to wonder if, all that fame and stuff, because that's what they were saying. Like, this dude was, you know, broke, and then he ends up just being a superstar in a matter of, he was, you know, real early in his career, and it's like some people can't handle all that success.
It's a lot.
Get around the wrong people.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've heard anything about like his hangers on, like people that came with him, like old family and old friends. They're like, John, give us money. Like, does he have an entourage? I don't know. I know a lot of fighters do, but whenever I've heard him, like he's podcasted with Joe Rogan a couple times, and just his interviews, I'm like, this is a smart dude. Like, he's a smart dude. So I get very confused how he would be failing these drug tests. I'm like, you're a smart, articulate guy who sees the world bigger than just fighting. Like, you could talk about numerous topics, and he seems really aware of the moment that he's in. Like, okay, this is my moment to make money, to become a superstar, to basically set me and my family up for the rest of our lives. Like, he seems like he understands what's going on. He seems like he works really hard. But then how does he get freaking suspended so much? Like, was this next one like tainted supplies or something? Like, is that what he was saying? Like, he took a bad creatine? Yeah, like
they're saying that's what it was. That's what he's saying.
It gets hard to believe, though, right?
Yeah, after like, come on, how many times now, you know?
Like, it really, like, so...
It makes you wonder, did he feel like he needed an edge? Because, you know, he was out of competition for, what, like a year? Then he comes back, maybe he's like, oh, I might need an edge. You know, it makes you wonder.
Who did he fight when his comeback? It was like, Nagano or something. It was some big monster dude too that people were like, I don't know if John Jones can handle.
Comeback? Oh, like what, the first time?
Yeah, the first time.
The first time he fought.
Basically his last fight.
Oh, not his last fight. It was Cormier.
Okay.
Remember he knocked him out?
Wait, recently?
Yeah, that was the most recent one. He came back because remember he came back. He fought Ovince St. Preux.
St. Preux. That's who I was thinking.
And then after that, he fought Cormier, knocked him out with a head kick.
All right, I might be confused then.
Yeah, he won the belt back from Cormier.
Okay, and then the next... Okay, so which is the one that Cormier was... Okay, so that was the second fight him and Cormier had. So it was a...
Yeah, that was the most recent one.
Because DC won the first one by, like, DQ, right?
No, John Jones won the first one. He went 5 rounds with him and beat him by, like, unanimous.
All right, I gotcha. All right.
Cormier had never been beaten before, so that didn't sit well with him. But then John got suspended. So then DC had to fight Rumble Johnson for the belt. He won the belt, and people were calling him the paper champ. And he's like, well, when he gets his shit together, I'll fight him again, and I'll win.
Yeah,
and then they had that big build-up. Fought John Jones, you know, fight number 2, and got
the head kick.
KO'd.
He kicked the shit out of his head.
Oh, man.
Now that you got me remembering that. Man.
Yeah, that was rough, man.
And I was excited, though.
Yeah, memes all over. Dude crying.
Oh, is that when DC was like disoriented?
Yeah.
Like his interview afterwards, like he was crying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was the terrible part because DC is another dude who seems like he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Like he's a good dude. You don't want to root against him. Seems like he's got a nice family, nice group around. He was an Olympic gold medalist or something.
Bronze, but still, that
just to be an alternate on their U.S. wrestling team is incredible. So to be a medalist,
that level, hell yeah.
So yeah, him. Part of me was rooting for him, but we're humans, right? Like we root for greatness. Like we want Michael Jordans, we want Mike Tysons, we want John Jones, we want Conor McGregor's. People that are just like, oh my god, like.
Well, dude's basically undefeated. He lost one fight for elbowing a dude with the head the wrong way.
That was like the 12-6 elbow, dude. Like, and it just what I like about MMA. See, when I first started seeing it come up in like the early 2000s, I couldn't watch dudes get smashed in the face. I was like, God, like they start pounding each other and their like heads are beating off the mat. I'm like, I can't watch this. Like I just, but once I started to, it wasn't until about 3 years ago that I was like, okay, I see the rules have tightened it up a little bit. Like they don't really let you freaking. Because I remember the first 2 matches I ever saw, I was like, why isn't this stopping? Why isn't the ref stopping? This dude's knocked out, and I'm like, I can't watch this. It was during the what's his face?
Fucking. Gotta take a little trip down the hole.
Oh, my boy's got a little bladder. That's fine. I'll carry this on.
All right.
All right. So J.R. Richards has a small bladder for all the ladies out there. Yeah, I'll just stop it here. You,
bad, bro.
no, it's fine. Just make sure that's closed though.
That's what happens when you drink a whole gallon of water in the morning.
Do you drink a gallon?
Yeah, man. I try to drink a lot of water. You know.
I drink like 10 of those a day. Like I'm just guessing. Like I might drink a little bit more some days. Some days a little bit less. But you start your day with a gallon.
Yeah, man. I try to just chug the whole thing.
Is that the first thing you do?
Space it out. Yeah, because I like to like cleanse the system. You know, it's like I don't know, something about that water. It's a good way to start the day.
Yeah, once you start the day like that with a gallon of water, you're probably pissing the whole day.
Hell, yeah, bro, it gets annoying.
Well, see, this is the funny thing. When I watch the Joe Rogan podcast and he's interviewing UFC guys, MMA guys, they're always getting up to go to the bathroom. There's like they drink so much water.
Hell yeah.
Like it's just like nonstop, just hydration, which is good. That's better to have that problem than so many people I know, just too many people I know, just barely drink any water. It's like soda is their... How do people still drink soda?
I don't even know.
Like grown adults. How do they still drink soda?
That stuff is horrible for you.
You know what was sad? Last night, because I was texting with a friend I haven't texted in a few months, and last time we saw each other, he was 215, weighed 215, which is still a big boy, and because he should not be that big, because it was all like right here. And last night we're texting, he's like, shit, dude, I'm up to 250 now. He's like, I just got really shitty. I can't stop drinking beer. I don't do anything right. I'm like, oh my God. And he's got a beautiful family, beautiful daughters and everything. I'm like, dude, he sent me a picture of him in the store. I was like, lose the weight, man. Like, you have a cool looking kid. Like, you need to stay alive for that. And he just couldn't believe, like, that I don't drink soda, that I don't really eat pizza. Like, I had pizza, I think, 5 times this year. And I've had pasta, like, 5 times this year. And he's just like, that's like 3 or 4 times a week I have that shit. I'm like, dude. And then I got sad. I started thinking in my head, looking at my phone real quick. I'm like, how many people do I know that are above 200 pounds? It was like all of my friends. And not a fit 200 pounds. Not like a muscular.
Just like obese.
Just big dudes. Just big. I'm like, everyone I know, including my family. I'm like, God damn it, Dad. You can't be having... You can't eat pasta twice a week. You can't be over 200 pounds when you're like 60 years old, right? Like it doesn't work that way.
Nah.
Like you got to start dropping.
Not everybody's about the fit life, man, you know?
How great is it though?
It's good. It's good.
So, but I hope my friend said I inspired him last night because I showed him my disciplined December list of the things I was doing and wasn't doing, including like no refined carbs, sugars, just doing at least 50 push-ups, 50 crunches a day, gym at least once a week, yoga at least 3 times a week, and a handful of other things. And he's like, God damn, man. Damn it, you've inspired me. So he said he was at work when we first started texting yesterday, and he's just like, you just got in my head. And he's like, I had to take a walk around my building. He's like, I was like, that's how it starts, right? Yeah. Like it's so hard. Steps. Like how many people do you know that have like tried to diet or something or get in shape and they go too hard, too fast, and it just doesn't work?
Lots. Yep. You can't just you gotta work your way up, you know? Gotta crawl before you can walk.
That's exactly it. With anything, with you and your acting too, it's like, all right, why wouldn't I take this job? Oh, it's not paying anything, but all right, I gotta crawl, right? I gotta crawl, walk, run, sprint, climb a mountain, like. Because I told him, he's like, wow, that's a crazy list you have, and to me, it's just like it's a list. It's not that hard. But I told him it's been a 3-year process to get to this point where all that stuff is easy.
Right.
Like, and he's like, shit. I might have to wait 3 years before. I'm like, yeah, you do, because you have to like rewire your brain and into knowing that soda is dog shit and pizza and pasta, like they're just no good. Like it's bad fuel. It's terrible for you. And that's, you know what, more the MMA UFC fighters, probably the top 2 or 3 reason I love watching that and love listening to these guys is their training regimens. Like these dudes are monsters. Like, I started drinking water like that by listening to, I don't even know who it was, but some MMA guy, some fighter, UFC fighter, and he's just talking about all the water he drinks and what he does eat and won't eat. And there's like, it might have been Nate Diaz, probably, because I think he's like vegetarian or pescatarian or something.
Yeah, I think so. He does like a lot of triathlons and stuff like that, so. That
was before the Conor fight. Like, he was in Mexico training to do a marathon or triathlon or decathlon with his brother. Like if I remember right, he said he was sitting on this patio drinking a Corona or Dos Equis or something, gets a phone call, hey, do you want to fight Conor McGregor?
Yeah,
what was
yeah.
it, like 2 weeks? It was like 2
Yeah,
or
I
3
think it
weeks
was.
notice.
I think it was.
And he's like, all right, how much? So it's like that dude, and you look at him, if you just saw him walking down the street, you'd be like, no big deal, it's just a dude. But he could kill you so quick. So that's why I started to appreciate, like, okay, you don't have to just lift. Like, he talks about how he trains all these UFC guys. They barely lift. A lot of them box, and just hitting bags is enough strength for them. And what I appreciate about them is that a lot of them are over 30, and they're in hyper good shape, and they're like peak athletic abilities, like their cardio, their strength, their skills, and just the way they eat, the way they take care of their body is probably the first thing that got me attracted. Because I was like, all right, I'm over 30. I have to change the way I eat. Look at these guys. That guy's 35, and he's going out there doing this, drinking that, eating like that, and he's that healthy. He's not even lifting weights, which is all I knew growing up. It's just like, all right, you lift weights. Like in the 90s, you were a weightlifter. Like that was how you got in shape. Nobody was doing yoga. I remember Ricky Williams, running back, NFL, said he was the first person I ever saw, an athlete, an NFLer, that was doing yoga. I'm like, what? Huh? And then it started like that. That always sat with me. I'm like, if he's doing it and he looks that good out there and has access to the best training in the world and he's doing yoga, maybe there's something to it. So that's why I put yoga on my list. I love yoga. You ever done yoga?
Nah, never tried that.
It's probably my favorite thing. Like if you could tell me, all right, there's only one workout you could ever do again,
You going with the yoga?
I'd probably go yoga. It's fucking weird to say that. Do you know how weird it is to hear me say that to myself?
Yeah.
Like, I freaking love yoga. Like, I was a dude who was like, yoga? What are you talking? That's for girls. That's for ladies. But, dude, your body, it does something to your body and your mind. I've never done the hot yoga. Like, that's the crazy shit. Like, they put you know hot yoga? They put you in a room. There might be 20 or 30 or 40 of you in a room. This is shit I don't have the balls for yet. And I think it's like 110 degrees in the room. And most of the classes are 90 minutes. So you're in 90 degrees or 110 degrees for an hour and a half doing all these crazy ass poses and just holding them. Now for me, that's probably still a year or two away. But everyone who does it says like they come out of there and they're just like, like they feel like a new person. And there's so many athletes that do it. And a lot of the MMA guys do it. And that's when I really started to take it seriously too, like 2 years ago. And I'm like, okay, all of these dudes are saying they do yoga. Every single one of them is saying they do yoga. And there's got to be something to it. Like maybe it's not just for chicks, because these guys are the toughest, baddest trained killers in the world, and they're doing it. Maybe there's something in it for me. So I'm not saying go ahead do yoga, dude, but you might want to look into it.
It's worth a
You
try.
might like, because it just like you just feel longer and lengthier, and you just feel like you can move around your joints. It loosens everything up. I'm a big proponent of yoga. I've been telling any family or friends that are like, hey, I'm having this problem, I'm trying to lose. I'm like, just start with yoga. Just start with yoga and see where it goes. Because people get hooked on it. See people walking around all the time in downtown Troy with their yoga mats and shit, like 6 a.m. and like 10 at night. I'm like, god damn, like
Hardcore.
crazy people. Yeah, hardcore. Like, I'm not that hardcore yet, but as far as like lifting in the gym, I'm good at 1, maybe twice a week now. And I'm like, that's probably what I need, because I'm not trying to slay dragons anymore. Like, I'm not going to ever lift the way I used to lift, and it's not good for my joints anymore.
Not trying to be a Spartan anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm just trying to maintain something.
Right, yeah.
And I think it's just maintenance. That's probably the best way I could describe yoga is it's maintenance. Like, I feel like, okay, I'm just keeping everything in action. Because when you're at the gym, sometimes it's just like, say you're just doing incline dumbbell press.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that's not working everything. Like, it's a very specific muscle group that it's training. Chest, shoulders, tris, buys, arms. Like, basically just all this. But you're just laying flat and doing this, which is awesome. It feels great. It's my favorite exercise ever. But
It's definitely good to mix it up, you know?
yeah, but, like, the yoga is, like, sliding around. You could still do, like, certain poses. You feel your chest working out, but at the same time, you're working out your ass. Like, I'm based on the twist and cardio and stuff. So I'm not saying do it yet.
All right.
You're still a young man.
I got time.
But yeah,
I'll look into it.
But you will if you keep caring about your body, which you probably will, right? Like, you see is forever. Like, you're always gonna be a fit guy, right? Like, you're never gonna let this go.
Especially in the profession I'm trying to get into. I don't want to be on screen like.
Yeah, exactly. And the more things you can do with your body, the more the more roles you'd be able to take.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
You want to be an action hero? Is that it? What's your end game? You think?
End game, I just want to be on the big screen, man. And I'm open to different roles, action, comedy. I don't care. I'll mix it up. But I want to get that.
You just want work.
That's it, man. Trying to make it to the big screen and make some real money. That's the plan. And then get steady work. That's always the goal,
Like well, that's one of the best level of fame. It seems to be like certain actors and actresses have it.
Yeah, they hit that pinnacle. It's like basically like something like Denzel or Will Smith, that kind of level. You
want that crazy level where you can't go anywhere.
A-list, bro.
I like it.
Go big or go home.
You could still, but it's not like if you were a B-list dude who just like maybe you didn't get recognized all the time, but maybe like 5 or 6 times a week. Somebody like, yo, what's up, JR? Yo, what's up, JR? I love you in this. Can I take a picture with you? Because I feel like a Denzel, where can that guy go?
No.
Does he go grocery shopping anymore? Can he?
Probably not.
Could he just go mingle and like go to the farmer's market and hang out? Probably not.
He'll get swamped.
Yeah.
Bro. Mob of people will run up on him.
Yeah, the thing, from the few people I know that have been actors, actresses, very low level, but the people I have known is one or two of them had seemed like a healthy level of fame. Like they would make money. They make $100,000 or $200,000 a year, which is a fantastic living, right?
Oh yeah,
fantastic. But it wasn't like they were A-list, but they would always have work. It would always be constantly work. Small role here, 3 roles a week, like 3 different things a week, which seemed like a grind. But I feel like that's a decent level of fame. But dude, become Will Smith. Become Will Smith, Denzel, The Rock, whatever you want to do.
That's the plan, man.
Denzel was
what you love, making big money. Can't go wrong with that.
Just don't move to California.
Well, that's actually the plan, man.
That's a terrible place.
Bro, in this area, that's the thing about this area, though. Like, it feels like one of those small town kind of situations where you're not finding auditions like, oh, yeah, there's a Netflix show in this area you can audition for. It's all like, community theater and stuff. I want to work towards those big opportunities,
So what's the move then? Do you just, how do you do that? Do you just are you planning on staying around here and then seeing if you can get an LA connection, or are you gonna be like one of those people, the crazy people that are awesome, because it works out sometimes for them, that just moves to LA and just grinds and goes audition until they get something, wait tables or until they get that?
Well, I definitely want to stack up some money, go out there, so that I can be established when I get out there, not be, struggling. Some people just go without having it saved up, and I'm not really trying to do that. So I'll stay here for a while, keep building up this body of work, keep tucking money to the side, and then once I'm feeling comfortable, then it's like, okay, then I'll make that move.
But it is gonna happen though eventually.
Yeah.
I know one person that specifically did that. It's my good friend's, her brother. He moved to LA to become an actor. Good looking dude, in shape. He had a couple gigs here and there, a couple commercials. But never like achieve the consistent work. But in the meantime, as to supplement his acting money, he was like, I don't want to say nanny. What do you call a manny?
Well,
like a guy, yeah, like a guy who watches other people's kids. And he's doing that and a personal trainer. And he had Beyonce as one of his clients. Like he was training Beyonce and Jay-Z and someone else like retardedly silly. Like they were at some restaurant, just him and his girlfriend, or the kid's gay, not girlfriend. Him and his boyfriend were at this restaurant, and a table over the way was Jay-Z, Beyonce, and like 2 or 3 other famous people. And Beyonce recognized him and was like, "Hey, Eric, come on over here." And so him and his boyfriend sat down and ate dinner with them because they recognized him. Like, oh, this is our personal trainer or manny or nanny or whatever it was. And I was like, what a crazy world. Like, so that dude with that kind of connection, like, that's what you need. I don't know if I can help you there, but it's a great story just to be hanging out and have Jay-Z and Beyonce say, come on over here.
That's the thing about living in big cities. You never know who you're going to run into, Out here, who are you really going to run into?
Me. We run into each other on the streets.
Yeah,
I know. would open up that world, right?
Yeah, because I feel like all I need is that right shot, that right opportunity, and I'm golden.
And you don't think that New York is the place, like New York City?
Well, I was looking at some options down there too. I mean, I'd rather live in California, but also I was looking at New York Film Academy, and I figured maybe if I go down there, because they do a lot of like student films and stuff like that, so I could take those films, put a reel together to send to casting directors, and I feel like that might be worth looking into. So I'll weigh my options before I make a move, regardless.
Well, that's the beauty of it. There's so many different options, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to go the traditional route anymore, right? Like traditional route would be go to LA, try to meet a producer, right?
Right.
Like, which can still happen. That's a great way to do it. But you can do exactly. It's because of the internet. We're all connected, and you can make your own YouTube channel if you want. You make your own reels and do your own. Like, it's so easy to film and put shit out there, right?
Exactly.
Is somebody going to be filming this play?
I'm not sure, man. I hope so, but I mean,
You need to.
yeah.
I'll film it for you.
Yeah, that'd be dope, man. I'll just give you some money for it, man.
I don't need money. I'm
Sure?
happy. I'll be showing up there. I'll be happy to help, man. I love.
Oh, that'd
I'll
be
tell you,
good.
one of the reasons I just love talking to you is because you're a dude that's going for it. It's so hard to find people that really go for it, and that's what I like talking to people that are just like, nah, I found something. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Because too many people in the world that I grew up in and the world we live in. They just get trapped, right? They're like, okay, I went to high school. All right, I should probably go to college.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
now I'm supposed to get married. Now I'm supposed to have kids.
How many people really think outside of the box and say, "Is this what I'm passionate about?"
You see too many people that are miserable doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's the part that really scared me away. That's why I can't be an employee anymore. It's something when I said when I was like 17 or 18, I was like, I'm not going to be an employee for someone. I just couldn't do it. But then I found myself down the road in the accounting world. I was like, okay, seems like I have to be an employee, but this can't last forever. And then I just started seeing older dudes than me that were like been doing it for 5, 10, 20 years. I'm like, I can't be that. That's not me. I can't be that guy in 20 years from now because they're miserable. They're miserable,
yeah.
and they talk about what they really like and what they're really passionate about and their dreams when they were younger, and they never went and gave it a shot. And so many people just get trapped in that.
Yeah, man, I feel like that's tragic. To know you could have, then you got to sit there like, okay, I'm making a decent living, but I don't even really. This isn't what I love to do.
Is this life?
Exactly. And also, some people say like, oh, have a fallback plan. Denzel said it best. I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. And if you're giving 20% to something and then 8% to your dreams, you're not all in. So to me, it's either all in or not at all. So that's why I said, why am I taking 2 college courses? It's getting in the way of me putting all my focus on my craft. I gotta make that hard call.
Just get better. Like, you're gonna get better the more time you commit to it. So even if it was just 2 college classes instead, 10 hours a week, maybe, like between studying and going to class, that's 10 hours a week. You could have been
working on my craft.
Just like rehearsing in the mirror.
Preparing for my character,
writing shit down, and that's like the buddy I was talking to last night or texting with last night. I was just like, that dude. When I first met him in college, like, he wanted to be a forest ranger, like a dude. He just loved nature. He's a semi-professional fisherman, like a bass fisherman. He's got a beautiful boat and like enters all these tournaments, and that's his passion. And his goal when I first met him, he's like, I want to be a park ranger, a forest ranger, and I want to fish as like my living too. And then he just took a hard right turn on that and was like, no, this is not practical. It's not practical. So now he's like an IT or some shit. And,
well, at least it's decent living, right?
But is it? But I mean, it is. If money's the goal, which it is for, especially in this country,
right. Money
is the goal. But that also is like has a dulling effect on you. It's like, well, if I go this, because we want guarantees, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's like, well, if I go this way and I'm the IT guy, I'm guaranteed we're not going to starve. We're going to have a place to live, and I'm not going to starve. And they have health insurance. We have health care. But if you go the crazy man way,
right.
like chasing your dreams, but that's what we need, right? We need more of those people because the old system, that was established like 100 years ago. Being an employee, you go work in the factory, like what Troy used to be, right? Like big old factories, and everybody here just worked in the factory, put their hard hat on, and that was your life. You get a guaranteed pension, you get health care,
right.
nice little house. Like that was great for that time. But you need crazier people. You're crazy for not become a physical therapist, right? Like, you know, because in 5 years you could be making 80, 90, 100 grand being a physical therapist, right? But that's no fucking fun. Like, where's the fun, right? Like,
and the thing is, bro, it's like to other people it may sound crazy, but I know it's not crazy because I know it's gonna happen. I got that self-belief, you know. And some people you tell it to, and they're just like shocked, like, really? Yeah, you don't go to school here anymore? No, I'm chasing my dreams. Oh, wow.
People look at you like you're an alien.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but where do these people come from? Where do Denzels and Will Smith and Conor McGregor and John Jones?
It's been done before, you know. It's
like the people that we all look up to and are like, God damn.
Now, what if Denzel thought? Oh, what if somebody told Denzel, oh, you really think you're gonna make it as an actor? You know, there's so much competition out there. What if he said, oh, yeah, you're right. Let me be a math teacher. Not saying there's anything wrong with being a teacher, but what if he just said, oh, let me just go some kind of settle for just a career and, you know, but.
Steady paycheck.
Yeah,
Give me
exactly.
that steady paycheck where you're working for someone else and you're usually trapped in an office with shitty lighting and a cube and you got to like talk to people a certain way because you never worked in a corporate office at all, right? No. I have, dude. It's a whole different language that people speak. Like, hey, good morning, Jim. Oh, did you catch the football game last night? like you can't say certain things, especially now. People are so ready to be offended that they'll write you up in HR, human resources, real quick. Like people love to get other people fired. Oh, can you believe what John said?
Oh, I already know that.
Can you believe what JR said? Well,
got plenty of that. Sage maintenance.
Yeah, exactly. You say you're working with a bunch of knuckleheads in the maintenance world, right?
Oh, yes.
And they couldn't wait to try to get on you, right?
Tell right on me. Oh, JR was bullying me.
Which is hilarious.
I don't let you say what you want to say. Some people just, you know, they joke around with some people one way, just say anything, and then they say that to the wrong person, and then you check them about it, and then it's oh wow, he's being aggressive.
And that's the thing in the corporate world too. This was a boss, I'm guessing, right? Like a manager or whatever. Yeah. Those guys, they're not used to people pushing back at all. Because in the corporate world, if the manager says something, the boss says something, it's rare when anybody pushes back.
Right.
It's like, yes, sir. Because people value, I want to keep my job. I have to do this. So you just suck it up and you just grovel and like, okay, you're right. Okay, all right, and you just bury that deep down inside, and you're like, fuck. You go home and like kick the cat or something, but so when they give a little pushback, like, do you like, no, fuck you, that's wrong, or whatever you might have said, it's like it hits people as a shock. Like that's not how you're supposed to talk around here.
That's what he said. He said, JR, I'm your boss. I said, I don't care about any of that. Don't get loud with me. I don't care about that, man. Respect comes first. And then he's like. Yeah, went right into HR.
Oh, you got reported to HR?
Yeah. So they were basically going to try to figure out a way to fire me. And, by that point, I was kind of fed up anyways. And the job was getting in the way of the acting anyways because I couldn't get any time off. Meanwhile, other people could call in. Oh, I'm going fishing today. All right, Bob, that's fine. But me, it was just kind of shady business. So I'm like, you know what? I moved on from that.
But and you, in a way, is there part of you that thanks them for making that so shitty of an experience that it was easy to walk away? Because like, say if it was great, say it was like greatest boss in the world, like JR, we're gonna give you a raise. JR, you can do all this flexibility, yeah, whatever you want. Take your time off. Oh, don't worry about that. Like if it was great, you'd probably still be doing it and it'd be taken away from what you really want to do. I would imagine.
Right. So I look at it like everything does happen for a reason, you know. So that was my time to walk away from that job. I got better things in store, man, and they're going to be sitting there doing the same little things they're doing every day, and I'm going to be at a whole nother level, you know, so that's going to be the best revenge.
It's that little chip on the shoulder that people talk about that everyone needs a little bit. If you're going to succeed and to put that past world behind you, the world that you're like, fuck that, I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in the corporate world. I don't want to get the steady paycheck. Exactly. You need to have that attitude, that little anger, like, oh, I'm going to show you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you.
Let that fuel me, you know? That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
They already have to see me on a poster every day. They're probably like, oh, this guy's on a poster around the school.
Do you think they drew anything on it, like gave you a Hitler mustache or
Nah,
something?
bro, they know better than to do that. Man. I'm there all the time. If I see some shit like that, I gotta get to the bottom of it.
Ooh, yeah, you gotta like.
It was a jealousy thing, man. They were a bunch of bitter. Some people are just so bitter, miserable with their own lives. They see somebody else getting attention and stuff like that. They're like, instead of worrying about developing themselves and maybe bettering themselves, they want to worry about somebody else. And
That's what we're really good at as people, right? Humans are really good at sniping at other people and trying to tear you down too. Like, why? Don't do that, Denzel. You shouldn't do that. Because most people were scared shitless of trying something that is not guaranteed, right? Like
exactly.
you're gonna move to LA someday, right? You might be shitting your pants, but you're still gonna do it. You're gonna be like, okay, but it's that fear, I think, that keeps a lot of people alive. That's where like life is. That's where like the energy is, like that fear of I don't know what's gonna happen. Whereas I got family members that are like. One dude works for the state of Pennsylvania. He's been there for 15 years already. Hates the job, but he wants to stay for another 15 or 20 years so he could get his pension. He's like, oh, I'm just going to stay. I'm like, how could you look at life like that? You're ready. You're just selling the next 20 years of your life to the highest bidder. Not even the highest bidder. For something you don't like. Like, that's your life. Like, just bye. Goodbye. You're going to be 55 years old, and you're going to be like, wake up one day, and be like, I got a pension, but holy shit.
Yeah,
those were the best. 20 to like 50 are the best years of your life, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm in that range, so I like to think every day I wake up is the best day of my life. But I think that's where like you really start to develop your brain and your body and your personality and your craft, what you're good at, what you like, what you don't like. Like, that's the shit where you're like, oh, you have energy to do it too before your body breaks down. So any people that just, like these guys you talking about, your boss is like, JR, I'm reporting you, and always bitter to you. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, that's just somebody that's just like, fuck, I fucked up. I wasted so much time not doing something that I wanted to do. And I just sold my life. I sold my time. And when they see someone coming up, like,
bro, I could just tell they were stressed when I was that was my first time being in a movie, was when James Franco came through. He was shooting a movie and I was just an extra in it. And you could tell people were like, why does he get to be in that movie? They just have that stressed look on their face. Like, you could just tell,
why you?
Because, why is he making $2,000 in 1 week? Because I was going around like, I made a quick $2,000 in 1 week.
And the answer is because you went for it.
Exactly.
And we need more people to go for it. Like,
too many people get caught up in just, I don't even know the word for it. Just like you said, steady paycheck. They just get caught up in that, and then they're miserable because they're not doing what they were driven or put here to do.
Because most of us don't have the courage to try to find.
Right. They're worried about what happens if this doesn't work out, rather than doing everything they possibly can to make it happen.
And when you have people sniping at you, saying, don't do that, don't do that. Like, when you told me you were done with school and doing this shit, I said, bam, do it, man. Get it. Like, go crazy, go nuts. Because I love that. I love that energy. And one of the smartest, I remember hearing this a while ago, Jeff Bezos, the guy who owns Amazon, created Amazon, which everybody, I don't know if it's the world's biggest company now, or maybe Apple, whatever it is, everyone knows Amazon for everything, right? Mm-hmm. So he was a super smart guy, and he worked on Wall Street, like in banking. And he made a bunch of money, and he's like, this fucking sucks. Like, do I want to do this forever? No. So he sat down and he wrote what his I guess theme of his life was going to be. He's like, I wanted to look back when I was 80, 85 years old, and I wanted to have minimal regrets. Like, he called it the regret minimization analysis. He's like, I want to look back and know I gave it a shot. Even win, lose, whatever it is, I need to know I gave it a shot. So he quit his job on Wall Street, moved back to his house, I don't know, Seattle or some shit, and like started selling those books out of his garage. Like, that was the first introduction to Amazon, was him selling books out of his garage. And now look at it. Now we freaking got shit you talk into and it orders you pizza, right? Like, that's Amazon now. And that kind of thinking, we need more of that. Just people, whatever it is, whether it's acting or whether it's just creating an insane company like Amazon.
Exactly.
You need people just like, this isn't like that, start to understand life.
Like I saw a video George Lucas was talking about when he came up with the whole Star Wars idea. People were telling him, "Oh, nobody likes that kind of stuff, man. That's not gonna do well. It's a waste of money." And he had a vision in his mind, and he stuck to it and said, "Nah, fuck what they're saying. I'm going for what I feel is gonna, I'm driven to do." And look at the man, billionaire,
and one of the most successful.
Yeah, exactly. What if he said, "Oh no, they're telling me it might not work. Yeah, maybe they're right." Where would he be?
But I feel like we need that balance, right? Mm-hmm. Like the thing that encourages a lot of people to succeed is having resistance.
That's true.
Like imagine if it was just like a fruitcakey world, like go do it. Everyone can do everything. Like what you told us as a little kid, achieve your dreams.
Right.
Like so you tell that to little kids, right? But as soon as they start getting into high school and college, that age, you're like, time to buckle down and get a job, right? Wait, you told me like when I was like 9, 10, 11 years old that I could do whatever I wanted. I should chase my dreams and be creative and do all that. And then they stop saying that. And it starts to be like resistance against that. Because every little kid is creative, right? There's no little kid that doesn't love drawing with crayons or acting or singing in a school play.
Right.
Or whatever it might be. Playing instruments. But once you get to a certain age, that starts to get like suppressed and starts to like squeeze it out of you. Like, no more creativity. You must get a job and make money. You're moving. I'm kicking you out of this house when you're 18. You got cool family support though that encourages you to chase this, right?
Not everybody. I mean, like my grandmother. Like I tell her, and she's kind of like, oh, well, you should really stay in school. Because probably she doesn't understand because she's from an older generation, so some of them don't really understand, that you could chase your dreams, you can make things happen. So, but I don't need anybody to understand, I'm confident in what I can do and I know it's going to work out and I'm going to put in the work, keep putting in the work. So,
I love you, Grandma, but this is a different world. Exactly. You don't understand that world.
Yeah.
But also someone of her generation, like going to school, it is still a big deal, but for somebody of her, what was she? She was probably like in her college age years in the 1960s? Yeah. So for somebody that old, like not many people went to school back then. Like that was unattainable.
Right.
So for her, that's probably still that mindset of successful people go to school, successful people go to college, and that's the way the world is, which is horseshit.
Yeah.
Like you don't need any of that.
Nah.
Especially if you have, you need some sort of talent, but really that desire just to keep grinding. That was a theme I've seen with so many just exceptionally talented and successful people is they just kept going. Like they might have sucked. Like they really, the way they looked at themselves are like, I really suck at this. Nobody like comedians. I see this a lot with comedians. Like first 20 times I was up on stage, not a single laugh. Like I freaking sucked, but I liked it. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I got that first laugh. I made one person laugh tonight. Success. Let's build on that.
Exactly.
But the problem is so many people, maybe the first time they go on stage and get no laughs, maybe even booed or crickets. Mm-hmm. Like nobody. They're like, I'm not doing this again. That was too terrifying.
See, that's the thing. You got to be relentless. Like my first audition, I didn't get a role in it, but that was when I first started acting. I was like 2 weeks in taking classes. I said, TV audition it was some Amazon show called Solitude, Amazon Prime. I'm like, let me go out for this. But at that point, I didn't really know about delivering lines and stuff. I thought you just kind of like go out there and say the lines, So I didn't get the role. But every audition I've been to since, I've done 3 auditions since. I've gotten a role in each thing I've done. So.
Yeah, and if you would have stopped after that first one.
If I said, oh man, I didn't get this part, I'm done with acting. I wouldn't be,
I wouldn't be talking to you right now because I don't want to talk to physical therapist JR.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I know enough physical therapists.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I get it. Your job, they all bitch to me about how much their job sucks. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, sucky jobs. Like, enough people have those.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's that fear you have to overcome. Yep. What were you thinking the first time you auditioned?
First time I auditioned, man. Well, first off, I got in there. I was like, I was expecting to do like a monologue or something. Something you have prepared going, but they kind of gave me like a cold read sheet. So I was just reading like this random speech, and I was supposed to. And bro, the speech didn't even make sense. It was like I was supposed to be some Italian guy, so I was just like,
Good luck. Good luck.
Oh yeah. And basically, the guy was mad that a girl didn't, like, this lady didn't help him out with his business or something, because I guess she was racist. So he's like, oh, it's just because of my olive skin and slick black hair. That's why. Bro, so I'm reading this stuff. I couldn't even really take it seriously. Yeah, so that was the first thing I had to read at an audition. So that didn't help.
They did not set you up for success. With
No,
that.
they didn't. Nowadays, I would have just played along with, okay, I'm Italian, okay, I'm gonna read it, like, you know,
just throwing a couple like biggity boos, like talking like, hey, you biggity boo, you lady, hey, you jabronis, hey, pizza sauce, marinara, you lady, I'll show you the back of my hand. Like, now you could do something like silly. Like
I'd make it work. Yeah,
but you just scratch your head. You're like, what the? You want me to do what? Right, that kind of thing.
And and like I said, I didn't really know about delivering lines at the time. I kind of was just like, okay, this guy, he I'm guessing he was angry, so I'm kind of reading it angry the whole time. As I've developed my craft, it's like, I know it's not about just being angry. You gotta, if you're angry, don't just be angry. Work up to that. There's a build up. Like the Shakespeare showcase I did, bro, masterful performance, if I don't say so myself. My teacher, just in class when we were rehearsing for it, that was part of building the character up. Like, okay, this guy isn't just some angry guy. It's a complex character. He starts off like, because the guy, I don't know if you ever heard of Othello. That was the one.
It's one of my favorite Shakespeare's, actually.
Yeah, so that guy, he wasn't just like, I'm super angry, let me kill my wife. He was like, he sees her and he's like, wow, she's so beautiful, I don't want to do this. And then eventually towards the end, she wakes up, and then he builds up and it escalates. So just be able to showcase, the complexity was pretty cool.
Did you feel like you nailed your first audition, or were you like, oh no, that didn't go well?
I mean, the other thing was I wasn't very relaxed being up there, so I kind of felt like, yeah, I didn't feel too relaxed. And by the reaction, I mean, you never really know the reaction on the spot because they kind of all just sit there with the blank face.
Even on the good ones, even the ones you got, it was like blank face. See,
bro, they don't really give too much away at the moment. They kind of just sit there like, okay, thank you. But actually, my first audition, I thought I was going to get it in a way, because afterwards he was like, wow, he actually said, yeah, I really like that. So where are you from? Are you going to be able to get out here to the shoot dates? Because we're going to be shooting here in Saratoga on the weekends. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm thinking he's asking me that for a reason. I'm like, okay. But then again, I'm like, he might just be saying that.
What a dick.
So it's kind of like, it's kind of up in the air, yeah.
I'm sorry I circle back to that, but I really want to dig at, like, that fear and that first time you did it, and then did they reject you? Did they give you, like, you just don't get a call back, or did they send you a message?
Well, they said we'll be in touch, and then after the first couple of weeks, I'm like, okay, they weren't in touch.
All right,
this wasn't happening.
All right, damn, they just leave you hanging out there.
They just leave you hanging. Well, sometimes it depends who it is, but them they never got back to me. But yeah, like this most recent audition, bro, there was like probably like 70 people there, probably more actually, and I beat out all the competition for the role I got, so that was a good feeling, man. And either way, I had another show lined up. I went to that audition the next day after the one I went to that I got, and so I already had some lined up. Somebody called me from the second audition. They were like, "Oh, we'd like to offer you this part." So I had two roles to choose from. I had to make that decision, and I went with the bigger role that I felt I liked more. So,
see, you just reminded me of that. This is the fun time for you, the uncertainty, because there's so many comedians, actors, actresses, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Actually, the first time I ever heard it was the Will Smith movie. What was the one where he had his kid? He was poor. He played that dude.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. I remember seeing that movie. I'm like, what an incredible movie. And then I saw the guy that Will Smith was portraying. I forget the name of the guy in real life. But I remember this years ago, him saying that it wasn't, he's like, I'm super millionaire now. This is fantastic. That was my goal, to become a millionaire. Right. He's like, but I gotta say, this is being rich and being a millionaire is one of the most overrated feelings. He's like, when it was really fun is when I was struggling, like we see in the movie, like him just like going to homeless shelters and shit, and in the back of cabs, like doing Rubik's Cubes and everything. He's like, that's when it was fun because I was scared, and it was the process of getting there.
The process, yeah.
The process was like that kept him alive. The fear kept him alive. He's like, now I'm not afraid of anything,
Right.
and it's kind of boring. He's like, so I missed that. And I've heard that with a plenty of like a Louis C.K., the comedian, who's in a bunch of shit now for jerking off in front of chicks. But anyways, I remember him saying kind of the same thing a few years ago. Was when I was struggling for like he was struggling for like 15, 20 years. He was just making a living, but he wasn't to the level he is now. He's like, that's when it was fun. He's like, I get romantic just thinking about those days. I wouldn't get a laugh. I would play to a room of like 8 people, and it was miserable. Everybody was drunk, like nobody was laughing, but I didn't know where my next meal was coming from, and I was struggling, didn't know where my next gig was coming from, but it was fun. It was fun. So that's why I wanted you to tell me about your first audition more, because I'm like, I want that fear and the uncertainty of like, am I done? Like, because a lot of people just quit, right? But it's that goddamn perseverance. You've nailed all of them since then, which is incredible. So where it shouldn't stop, right? But would you expect more setbacks? Like, say you go for a big role, like it's like, JR, this is a life-changing role. If you get this audition, you're getting, a TV show. You're getting $30,000 a month to do this show, and you don't get it.
Well, that's the thing, bro. Like, for this show that I'm in right now, I've heard a lot of good things about the director. Well, that's how I actually heard about the audition, because the first show I did, some of his students, because he's also a acting teacher, some of his students were like, oh, wow, you were incredible. And then, so they went back to him and told him, and then I got an invitation to audition. So I'm like, wow, he's got some good credentials. He's from New York City. I'm like, it'd be great to get into this show. But I went to that audition, and then the first one, like, nobody told me anything. So I'm like, okay. The next day I went to a different audition. I'm like, regardless if I got the first one, which I really wanted to land, I was still going to go to another one. And then I got a role in a second show that I eventually had to turn down. But, like, that's how I look at it. Even if I didn't get that role, that wasn't going to be the end. I was going, okay, on to the next audition.
That's because your mind's made up at this point.
Yeah, there's no stopping.
So it's going to be the up, down, and then you're just going to get it.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
someday you're going to call your own shots. Someday is the goal to never have to audition. Like, right? Like, oh, okay, I'll take that role.
Yeah, that'd be a goal to have people calling me like, man, like, like Denzel. Like, they probably call him up like, man, would you like to check out this script? Would you like to be in this?
All right, how about we send this to Denzel's Instagram or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
email it to him, be like, Denzel, come on, man. You're inspiring the youth of America, Denzel.
That's my favorite actor, man.
I fell in love with him in Training Day.
Bro, at the end, that's legendary speech at the end. Remember how he just that one part where he's like, yeah, Jake, like, bro, he went deep with that one.
His monologue.
Yeah. Oh, you motherfuckers. That shit was crazy.
That was one of my favorites. Yeah, Denzel was. He's on my Mount Rushmore of just 4 favorite actors, actresses. It's Tom Hanks and Denzel are 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know who the other 2 are because they're up there, whoever they are. But whenever it's like, oh, who would you pay to go? Like, I wait for the next Denzel movie to come out.
Right.
I also Leonardo DiCaprio will be number 3. Leonardo DiCaprio will be 3rd on my list. But
He's good too.
any movie that Denzel, Tom Hanks, or Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't care what the topic is, but I know, like, the Upside Down plane movie, I forget all these damn names of the movies, but the one with Denzel's the captain, the pilot.
Oh, Flight,
yeah, and whatever, he, like, turns it upside down or some shit.
I didn't even see it, but I've heard of it.
I just, like, I don't care about an airplane crashing movie. I don't care. Oh, Denzel's in it? Okay, I want to watch it. Like, it's kind of weird that, like, why do I like him, even though I know he's acting, but he makes me forget that he's Denzel. You know what I mean?
That's how good he is, man. He's a different character each time, and you really get he's good, man. He's good.
It's the same thing with DiCaprio too. Oh, that dude's had so many silly roles, different roles, and I forget it's him all
Different
the time.
person each time.
Yeah,
basically.
but there's so many goddamn actors that I'm just like, I just can't watch you. I don't even want to name, but there's just so many that I'm like, I know it's you. Like, I know that's that
you
guy.
can tell they're acting. They're not doing their job.
Yeah,
right.
like those guys in The Hangover. That was it, Brad, whatever that guy is. Whoever the Hangover dude, who's in a bunch of other shit. Mm-hmm. I watched one non-Hangover movie that he did because he had that character in The Hangover where he's like, "Party bro, dude, whatever." Why am I forgetting his name? Brad.
I know
the
who
big
you're
tall
talking
white
about.
dude. Big
Yeah,
tall white dude.
I don't know his last name.
So anyways, he had a different role, and I saw like 10 minutes of the movie. I was like, nope. I turned it off. I was like, yeah, I know that's you. I know that's you're not a good actor. But dude, something about Will Smith might be fourth on that list too, because there's always a special place in my heart for DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Summertime, man.
Oh, classic.
Summertime.
Classic.
It's funny how it is a classic now, but I remember when it came out, like cruising around in my friend's cars, like summertime. He was the first person that I realized that there's just some people that are too talented. Like, he was a rapper and some good ass songs. Like, Getting Jiggy With It is a good ass song. I don't care how corny it sounds now. It's still a badass song.
Oh,
Summertime.
Yeah.
And then the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then he started doing all these big dramatic roles, like whatever he wants now, right? He could do it. And I was like, oh, there's just some people that have everything.
And if you ask him, he'll say he's not talented. I saw an interview. He's like, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm talented. Where I succeed is what'd he say? He said, where I succeed is sickening work ethic. That's what he said. He said, if I'm on the treadmill and somebody else is on the treadmill, I'm gonna die before I get off the treadmill. You know, you're getting off first, or I'm gonna die. That's what he said. It's like, when you got that mindset, what are you gonna stop?
Yeah, and you look that good, and you're that talented, and that focused. Yeah, that we need people like that. And I've always liked Will Smith, but I remember years ago, there was an episode of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't know if it was like somebody died or a drug. It was one of the sad episodes, and I remember I was like, this isn't funny. This isn't a funny episode. It was like he was crying.
Sure, was it the one with his dad, or was it
It could have been the dad. The dad came back or some shit.
Dad came back in his life, and then because I know that's the one a lot of people talk about. His dad said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go on a trip," and then he came back like, "Oh yeah, matter of fact, we gotta make a rain check."
Yeah,
and
then
he crying.
He hugs Uncle Phil in the kitchen. I remember shortly after seeing that, and I was just like, because it hit me out of left field. I'm like, wait, this isn't funny. No, Fresh Prince, you can't be sad. But I remember seeing an interview like a year or two later with him, and he said he requested that, or he wanted that episode so he could show his range. Like, I can do multiple. I could be more than just the silly guy.
Yeah.
Like, I can do serious and emotional. I could cry. I could get you to get emotional with me.
Hell yeah.
And I remember seeing the episode and being like, I don't like the way I feel right now. I didn't watch this to be sad. But then I heard him explain it after that, and I thought, God damn, I really like this guy. Like, it's the same thing with Jim Carrey, one of my favorite as well. He's an insane person, but I remember also hearing about him years and years and years ago. He said he didn't want to ever do be the same character. Like, he went from Pet Detective, and he did not want to do the sequel. Did not want to do it, but the paycheck was too much, and he's like, all right, fine, I'll do that. But he never wanted to do another sequel. Because he's like, I want to do different things. I'm not on this earth just to do one type of thing. And that's the same thing with Will Smith. He's like, I could be silly. I could be silly all I want. But that's not all of me. I gotta do some more other things. Same with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey blows my mind. Like Truman Show and I love every Jim Carrey movie. But Will Smith, I remember that. And then him saying that. And then I remember seeing I Am Legend. And still to this day, one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
My girlfriend hates it. She hates when I turn it on. But I love that movie. And it has my favorite things about movies are when there's just like 2 or 3 characters. And in his case, there's basically him and all the cutaways to like past shit. But basically the whole movie was him and his dog. And he just owned everything. Like, you gotta follow him around. Because so many movies, like, I don't watch superhero movies. I can't. There's like 8 different superheroes, and I'm like, what story is going on here? What? And so many other movies, I'm like, there's too many people. Like, give me one good actor like Will Smith who can just keep me sucked into his world. And I get hypnotized. I feel like I get hypnotized when I watch I Am Legend. And then I start crying when his dog dies. But
yeah, that was tragic.
I don't like that. I don't like that. Especially now we got a puppy. I'm like, shit. I understand now. Like, it's just me and a dog left in the world, and then my dog dies. Yeah, I'm gonna cry, Will Smith. I'm crying with you.
Well, that's how good he is, man. He make you relate to it, and it didn't even happen to you.
It didn't. And for me, that's how Tom Hanks is in Castaway too. The whole movie is just him on a damn beach with a little volleyball.
Yeah, I remember.
Which he also loses that too. So it's like Will Smith.
What was his name? Wilfred or something? What was his name? Wilson.
Yeah. Well, because it was a Wilson volleyball, right? Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So those kind of just long movies where it's just about acting.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not so much about special effects. It's just about acting and getting into that person's world. There's so few people that can pull that off. That's why there's Will Smith and Tom Hanks and a handful of other people that just like, I'm like, okay, I appreciate acting now, because sometimes I just like, like that doesn't look that hard. But then I see someone like that do it, like a Denzel in Training Day. I'm like, I didn't know this was that guy. Like,
Right.
I didn't know that was him. Because I remember seeing some really young Denzel movies, like early 90s, mid 90s. I forget the name of them, but I remember thinking like, oh, he's like a dramatic actor, blah, 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 blah. But then Training Day came along, and I was like, oh, shit, this dude's scary.
Hell yeah, bro. He killed that.
Would you think was there inspiration there? Like, when you were younger, were you like inspired by like, when did acting first become a thing in your head? Or just kind of entertaining?
It first became a thing like, I'd say when I did that, when I was just an extra in that movie, in that James Franco movie, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I'm making $2,000 in a week, and it wasn't just about the money. I kind of like being on set, you know, like, it's pretty cool, man. The costume ladies, oh yeah, I'll throw on this shirt, because it was like a 70s flick, so I had to have like the big collar and stuff like that. They threw the afro on me, so it's like, this is fun.
Do you know if you made the cut? Do you know if you made the cut in the movie?
Yeah, I was definitely in it. I was just an extra. Like, I didn't have any speaking lines, but I was in it. Like, I was in the classroom chilling with my feet up on a chair. I was playing like a college student. It was like a party scene. I had to like just walk this girl down the hallway and then just like talk to her and stuff like that with a red cup. You know, I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man.
But that was the one you're like, oh, I might be able to live off of this.
Yeah, I'm like,
right.
now let me learn the craft now. So it's like I started trying to research and, you know, see what acting schools were in the area, who I could learn from, and found Blue Horse Rep, my teacher Laura Lee, and it's been history ever since, man.
This is the fun time. That's what I keep thinking. It's like, this is the
I do like the process in a way, like, you know, just each show I keep hearing the same feedback. Wow, you were incredible. And I keep hearing it, like, thank you. Now let me keep rolling. Like, let me keep hearing this stuff, you know?
Because that makes you want to up it to the next level, right?
Exactly.
Like, you don't ever want to not hear that, right? Like, if you stop hearing that, it's like, oh shit. What? Oh god, I got to go back to the drawing board. Have I not been working hard enough?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
you never want to think
it,
that,
man. People are just like, wow, like just a small role like that. Like I said, my first show, small role, inspector. I wanted a bigger role, but like I had gotten onto the project late in the game. Like I heard about the audition weeks after, and they were like, "Oh, we do have one role left." So I'm like, "All right, I'll take it." And but I knew I deserved a bigger role because I knew with my talent, you know, I'm like I should be in a lead role. But I'm like, all right, let me just own this. And my small little role ended up, you know, getting me a bunch of fans already. So,
you know, a lot of people have problems hearing people that are confident. I love it. I love that you're like, I fucking got this. I know I got this. I know I should get this. I know I deserve this. I know I'm gonna get there. I love that. So that makes people uncomfortable. I think that's when people start pushing back.
Right.
They're like, why are you so confident? You sound very arrogant. You're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be energized about anything.
Yeah.
Like if you're the best, like, brain surgeon in the world, I want you to be cocky.
Yeah.
I want you to be cocky about that and be like, I tore that brain surgery up. I'm the best brain surgeon up in this motherfucker.
Exactly.
like that's the attitude that you want from someone.
Well, that's a big part of it. You gotta have that self-belief. Like, look at Conor McGregor, and you know this dude was in the welfare line at one point, but he's training. I think he was a plumber at one point too, and he's just like, nah, this isn't for me. And he got into MMA, and everybody's telling him, oh no, you're not gonna make it. What are you doing, man? Just stick to a regular career. And this dude's like, no, I'm gonna be the champion of the world someday. And look, made it happen. He said, oh, I knew this was gonna happen. You know, it was just a matter of time.
I've heard a couple of his. He has that line of thinking. Some things that he said. He's like, I just know.
He said he visualized it. Yeah.
I just know this is going to happen.
Right.
And I can't. He's like, I can't explain to you how I know. Like I've heard other really successful, driven people say that.
Yeah,
I can't explain to you why I know.
Yeah,
but I know. It is, man, because we all are just our brains. Our brains are our biggest adversary and our biggest asset. Right. Is like, you gotta just control your brain. If you could trick your brain, I think part of it's tricking. Like when I feel like, hey, like even just doing a podcast, I'm like, I fucking suck, but I want to do this, and so I get over that. Like I don't know what we're gonna talk about today, JR, but I just know we could sit down and talk because I like it. And I'm like, what is this ever going to be? I don't know, but I like it. And I have a visual in my visualization in my brain of where this might be in 5 years or 10 years. I'm like, who knows who I'm going to be talking to? But I just want good conversation because at the end of the day, I just like talking. So it's not even when I try to explain to anybody, like, you're doing a podcast? What's that? I'm like, I don't know. I just sit and talk shit with people. That's it. But there's a visualization that I can't even put into words of what this might be 5-10 years from now. Because you can make plenty of people make livings off of it.
Look at Joe Rogan, man. This dude has like how many subscribers? Like,
he just broke 2 million a couple days ago. I saw it because I was like, God damn. Because I started watching his. Actually, he's the inspiration for me sitting here. I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know you could do that. And I joined up when he was like 300,000 or 400,000 subscribers. Now he's up over 2 million. So I kind of feel like I was an early adopter. Not that early, but that's when I started to get into. Like, he introduced me like, oh, he's a scatterbrained crazy person. Like, he loves all this random weird shit, including archery and MMA and yoga and outer space and health and psychology and social issues and acting and whatever it is, comedy. He's a comedian. Like, that's his job.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm a damn crazy person I'm like a poor version of him, and that my interests are just everywhere. Like, I feel like I could talk about any topic really, because my brain is never focused on one thing. So seeing that he could just sit there and just talk with all these crazy people, I'm like, that's a job? You could just sit there and talk about things that you like? All right, let me see if I could do that. But I don't even see it as definitely as a moneymaker, but it could be, because why not? If this is eventually will lead to some sort of paycheck, advertisers or whatever it is, I'm not going to say no, right. But that's definitely not the goal. Because I just enjoy this way too damn much, talking with dudes that are just like amped up with energy, and hopefully you're inspiring people. Like, anybody who might be watching this, like, that's the end of the game. Is in my mind is like, I want other people to feel the energy you have.
That's why I actually just that takes me back to the other day at rehearsal, man. We were just doing this one part, like I was telling you, I had to feel like guilty about the whole girl situation, and the director, he was gonna stop at a certain point, but he was just like. He was just so caught up in the performance, and then when I got finished, he was just like, "All right, I meant to stop way earlier, but man." And bro, everybody just started clapping, like mid rehearsal. Whole cast started clapping, and then one dude was like, "Man, you know that inspired me. I see why you got this part." Because he auditioned for the same part I auditioned for. So he was like, "Man, I see why you got this, man." Everybody, it's good to hear that kind of feedback. People saying, "Oh, that inspired me to work harder,"
It's the having effect on people, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh shit, is this the point of life? This might be the purpose of life, is to inspire other people, to make an impact on them and show them that, hey, maybe you don't have to go down that shitty 9-to-5 office job.
Right. Well, that's like one of the first things I'm gonna do once I hit the pinnacle. I'd like to like go give speeches and stuff like that. Let people know, like, listen, forget what anybody's telling you. Do what makes you happy in life. And just give your all to it, and you can make it happen.
That's also a great gig. Inspirational speakers, like people that speak at like college graduations and stuff, like keynote speakers. Like, people make like inspiring people.
Right.
It is a business, and it's important. What's that guy's face? Oh, I forget the guy's name, but like, he has the big teeth.
Who are you thinking of? Eric Thomas?
No. I'm not going to think of his name right now. But anyways, that guy was like the first...
Oh, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins, yes. Like, Tony Robbins, that's his full-time job, is just to encourage people, inspire people. To like, it's not about... And he goes out there and he's like, this is not about me. Even though y'all paid money to come here and, listen to me, buy my book, do my DVD, do this series... it's not about me. I'm here for you. I feel like that has got to be one of the most rewarding jobs. How many emails and letters is he getting every day saying, "Thank you, you changed my life. Thank you, you changed my life."
I've listened to some of his like videos and interviews and stuff like that. That dude knows what it's about, man. Like, he said before he made millions and stuff like that, he already had the car he wanted picked out. He's like, he's looking through like foreign cars. He's like, yeah, that's me right there. I'm getting that one. So he's like a big believer in visualization too. So that dude knows what he's talking about.
And you need people like that. Like, I feel like back when I was a bit younger, like 90s and shit, when I first started hearing about Tony Robbins, people used to just make fun of him. Like they'll be like, oh, look at, he's so cheesy. Look at, like, just like it was a comedy. Like what he was selling was bullshit.
Oh, when he first came out.
Yeah, it was like what he was selling was bullshit. All these seminars, like, oh, he's brainwashing, just taking these people's money. Yeah, and so I never heard anything he said because I kind of just had that mentality, like, well, they're dismissing it, so I'll dismiss it. There's probably nothing to it. It sounds like this guy's a con artist. But then once you start listening to what he says, you're like, that makes perfect sense. This guy gets it.
Guy knows what he's talking
this
about.
This guy freaking gets it. And that's what I never understood, like role models. Like I remember the old commercial, a Nike commercial, Spike Lee, Charles Barkley, whatever. I'm not a role model. So I thought like nobody wanted to be a role model. Like people that figured it out, like they would just keep it to themselves. I'm like, that's mean as shit. You need to share that thing. So I think of that commercial. I'm like, Charles Barkley, you are a role model. You should be like JR, going out, once you make it, go out and inspire those little kids.
Yeah.
Be like, that might be at home, have shitty parents that are just saying, nope, at 8, you got to get a job right now. You're 16, you can go get a job at McDonald's right now. You got to start doing that. And you're 18, you're moving out. Like, some of those kids make it, right? Like, because they get that fire. They're like, I don't want to live like this forever. Some of them do. But a lot of them just get so squished down by their parents. And then say if like a Charles Barkley or somebody or JR comes along in their future, be like, dude, you can do this. Like, I did it. Because that's what you hear a lot of successful people say is like, if I can do it, anyone could. You could definitely do it. It's just a matter of discipline and goal and perseverance, right?
Hell yeah. It's definitely nice having somebody to give you that positive, that positive message for sure. Because like, my teacher is one of those people for me, because when I first 2 weeks into acting, I had never acted before. When I got in there, she pulled me to the side like, you're talented. You're gonna go places, and and she just told me keep coming to class, keep doing this. We're gonna take it to the next level. You got a talent, and bro, just that have somebody believe in you like that, that really helps you even wanna go harder with whatever you're doing.
And it's important to hear that from somebody that's like not a family member, right?
Right.
Like sometimes our moms, dads, or grandmothers, whoever, think you're the greatest thing in the world. Like, oh, you're the best. You're gonna be the best at this. I know it.
Right.
But you've been hearing that shit all your life.
Yeah. Right.
Like my parents thought I was the greatest baseball player they'd ever seen when I was 12, 13. But it didn't mean anything to me until other people start saying, dude, you're pretty good at baseball. Come out and play on our team. Like, that's when it started like, oh shit, maybe I am good at this.
Yeah.
Like, your dad could be like, dude, you're a great actor. You're like, Dad, shut up.
Exactly.
But when you have that woman tell you that, like, that's like, oh shit, like, there might be something here.
Yeah.
And you could always go back to that, right?
Right.
You could always go back to that moment where she told you that and how that made you feel. It's like, that's my fire. That's my fuel.
Hell yeah.
All right, man, this has been fun.
It has been fun, man.
Let's do this again whenever you want. I just love coming and talking shit. I'm definitely going to go see your show, which is January 27th through...
January 27th through February 4th. I'm going to send you the link, man.
Please. I'm definitely in. I like when I go on your Instagram page, the last picture you put up was at a rehearsal.
Yeah.
Is it like 19th century?
1945.
1945.
Man. They had me with the fedora, the suspenders. that was pretty cool, man.
All right.
But yeah, man.
J.R. Richards.
Hope y'all know, man. Just follow your dreams. Don't let anybody stop you. And whatever you're passionate about, you can get it done. Because that's how I'm looking at things. And that's it, man.
Keep grinding.
That's it. Keep grinding.
All right, brother. This has been fun.
All right, brother.
Later, guys. Go do something else.